pixels, and you can see the width of this is 750 and our height is 348. So I no longer need this. I'm going to close this, going back to Dreamweaver, and I'm putting the width as 750 and my height as 348 pixels. Save that, and when I come back in, see we now have our box, but you can see it automatically pushes to the left and upright. We have this extra space right here on the right and on the bottom, so we're going to need to create padding. So padding basically pushes up against things and pushes it away. So we're going to do padding, and we're going to go to top. We'll try 10 pixels. Well, when I refresh this, alright, if padding doesn't work, you can do margin, which is kind of the same thing, just different properties. There we go. You can see it push it from the top now. We're going to need a little more, so I'm going to go ahead and try and change this to 20 pixels. Refresh. And you can see our height and bottom is now a little even. So I just need to push it from the left now. So I'm going to do margin, left, and I'm going to just go ahead and try, let's just do 5. Probably need 6. Alright, now we have our content centered, but in Photoshop, you remember we added this stroke around the outside, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Just get this color, which is E1, E1, E1. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to do a border. I'm just going to type border, and I'm going to do 2 pixels because that was our stroke size, if you remember. I'm going to add the color, and I'm going to make it a solid line. So right here is our border, and I'm telling it to be 2 pixels thick with this color, and we want our line to be solid around. And then I closed it. And now when I refresh, yeah, you're not able to see this. It's actually pretty light, but if I remove this, let's hope I didn't fail miserably. Let's just do dark, just to see if it's showing up. You can see our border is around it. I don't know why it's not showing our color here. Maybe let's just go ahead and try this again. 2 pixels. Let's do 3. Okay, that looks a lot better. You can now see our border. Alright, so we have our content table, which you see in our Photoshop. It's almost exactly identical from the coding to Photoshop. The next thing we're going to want to do is add in our images. So I have these images already still on my desktop, which you can see right here, Showbiz, Gallery, and Paper, and I'm just going to go ahead and put them in my image folder. Now doing this, I can come over to the table, and I'm just going to add in these images. Image, SRC, which is the coding for adding an image, and it'll let me browse, and I'm just going to go, oops, I'm going to come to my image folder on my desktop, and I'm just going to add in the first one, which in Photoshop is Showbiz. So I'm adding Showbiz, and I'm just going to do the height and the width. It's not required, but an alternative text, and I'll just put Showbiz. Which this alternative text is text that will show up if somebody's computer doesn't load an image. Instead of showing an image, it'll show this alternative text. And I'm just going to go ahead and do this 2 more times for my 3 images. So we're going to go ahead and add paper, height, width, and alt, and we'll do paper. It's not liking me today, obviously. Height, width, going a little too quick, width, and our alternative will be Galleria. Now if you see when I close these, I'm putting a slash. This is telling to close tags that are tags in their own. You see image, this is all we have for image, is its own tag. But for like div, it doesn't close itself, it has an alternative closing right here. So it just has div like this. But this is self-closing tag right there. So now that we have our images in our table, I put it in the table tags. I'm going to go back to my coding, I'm going to refresh. Helps if I save it. Refresh. And you can see I now have my 3 images right here. They're all pushed up against each other, which we obviously do not want. So I'm going to go ahead and create a way to divide these up. And to do this, I'm going to create them into a list type form. I'm going to do UL, and underneath my last image I'm going to close that. And like I told you in the previous tutorial, these images I'm actually going to have so they can click and it will link them back to, or it will link them to a demonstration of the coded version of these previous websites I made. So I'm going to want to make these links in my site. So I'm going to do li, and then I'm going to do a href, and I'm just going to put a number symbol. Now what this does, this is basically, it's not telling it to link, it's basically just having it bookmark. It's bookmarking the link so I can change it for later. I'm actually going to show you what this does. And I'm closing these. See, I have my li, a href, or my closing a, and my closing li. You want to close in the same order you open. So this is last, or first, so this is going to be last. Just closing inside of each other. I'm going to save this. And when I refresh, you can see it kind of creates as a list, which we'll fix, but my image is now a link is what I want to show you. I can click this and nothing happens, but it is a link. That is from this symbol right here. And I'm just going to go ahead and do this exact same thing with my other 2 images. And I'm just going to close these. Save that. Now that I have this done, you can see I have all these just listing. That's what, see, the number symbol just pushes them back to the very top of the page when they click, so it's no harm done. And you can just use it as demonstrations if you're just coding one page and you want to show somebody. To create these as not a list, li and ul are both able to be read by CSS, just like everything else. So I'm going to take this ul, I'm going to come here, I'm going to do ul. Now, the reason I'm not putting a number symbol in front of UL like I did with table and content, because UL is not, it's a tag of its own. Just like body, you see body right here, it has no div or anything. It's just a tag on its own, so you're just going to do UL. Now with UL, I'm going to want list style, none. And the reason is because this UL creates it as a list like we have here. So when I refresh, you can see it removes my list settings. And I'm going to do li also. And I'm going to do display inline. I'm going to close this. And bam, there we go. We now have, okay, it doesn't look like we've done much, I'm going to be honest. But this basically is setting up a way so we can divide our images to look spaced out like this. So first what you need to do is come down. UL creates an auto margin, which is basically pads it away from the side, so we're going to do 0. And it creates padding, so we'll do that 0 also. Now I just took away its margin and padding property, so when I refresh this, you see it just pushes them right back to where we had them. But that's alright. We're going to take li, and we're going to add padding to this. We're going to do padding, we're going to do left, and we're going to do 20 pixels. This is going to push it from the left side by 20 pixels. So this is basically an li right here, showbiz, because in our coding we have my showbiz image in li. So this represents an li, this represents li, this represents li, and so does this. So we're going to have these push each other away by 20 pixels to the left. So when I refresh this now, you can see it pushed 20 pixels left, 20 pixels left, 20 pixels to the left. Now we're going to continue to do this, but I'm going to do it to the right so it evens itself out.